With E3 next week, I decided to do some predictions. I've got 3 predictions for each of the conferences that I'm actually going to be doing reactions to. I didn't come up with any predictions for the Devolver conference or any of the EA Play stuff, especially because we kind of know what to expect with both. EA gave us a schedule of what they're going to be doing, and Devolver's just going to, cover the floor in blood, and I don't know. So we already know what's going to go on with them. So for the predictions, it's just going to be the conferences that I'll be doing reactions to. So first off, just a reminder, here's the schedule of our reaction streams. My reaction streams. And if you haven't looked in a while, I've been streaming on Twitch some Super Mario World hacks. I've been trying to do Kaizo stuff because that's super hard, but it's really fun, and it's really fun hanging out, even though there's only been like 5 or 10 people. So follow me on Twitch. Anyway, so yeah, here's these are the 6 conferences that I'm going to be doing reactions to. I haven't decided. I might do some at the last minute for Devolver or the Kind of Funny game showcase that they're doing. They're doing theirs an hour before the Square Enix one on Monday. And I don't know how long theirs is supposed to be, so I don't know if they're going to do it an hour before my reaction time on this schedule, I mean. So I don't know if I'm going to do theirs yet, but if I do, it'll just be an off-the-cuff, I'm bored, don't know what else to do, might as well react to this thing, sort of thing. So the last one they did was pretty packed. It was just game, and then them talking for 12 seconds, then game. So we'll see. But anyway, let's get right into the predictions. First off, obviously, Xbox. And I'm doing these in the order of the conferences, so I'm not picking like the best for last or anything like that. The first thing, I think it's pretty clear they're going to talk about Halo Infinite. I'd be very surprised if Halo Infinite wasn't going to release this holiday. So my prediction is that they're going to announce Halo Infinite will release this holiday. Also, I sincerely hope that it looks better than it did. For some reason, everyone watching it said, man, that looked beautiful. And I'm like, that looked like an original Xbox game. I don't know what people were watching, but I didn't think it looked good at all. It looked really, like all the details stripped out of the graphics or something. I don't know. It didn't look really good. It looked really basic. Which maybe that's what they're going for. I have no idea, but I wasn't like, wow, look at this gorgeous, possibly open world Halo. Anyway, so hopefully they release that, or they release that later this year, and that we get like a release date at E3. Next, I think they're going to get the Avengers reveal, even though Avengers is going to be at the Square Enix conference, like they've already confirmed that. I think that we might get like a reveal at Xbox, and then a deeper dive into the game in the Square thing. Like last year, there was a Kingdom Hearts 3 like reveal for Frozen was at Xbox, and then at the Square Enix one, they played the same trailer, and then PlayStation got a different trailer that showed off Pirates for the first time. So I feel like it would kind of make sense especially since Xbox has so much pressure this year. Since Sony isn't there, like Xbox potentially could have the best conference of the show. Like last year, I think they probably had the best conference because it was just so packed with stuff. And they've already said there's going to be even more, Xbox Game Studios revealed games at E3, which is going to be awesome. And then the third prediction, obviously, because they've already said Battletoads is coming this year. I think my prediction is that it's going to have the ugly hand-drawn graphics that we saw in the trailer, where all we saw was like a tongue and a barrier. I think it's going to look like that, and it's going to look bad. And people are going to say, we wanted Battletoads again, but we didn't want this. And then one of the things I'm worried about is that it might just be a remaster, since that seemed to kind of play off a level from the original. It might just be like a remake thing. Anyway, my prediction is Battletoads will be ugly. So, next, Bethesda. I think this is the worst one. I think Todd Howard's going to make some cute little joke about Fallout 76, he's gonna go, "Yeah, I heard there were bugs in it," or he's gonna say, uh, people have had hours of fun, just not consecutively. Like he's gonna make some kind of joke, as if like we're just gonna be like, "Ha ha ha, oh Todd Howard and your jokes," like, and people are gonna not take it well. They seem like the kind of people to do that. The beginning of their conference last year was about how they were the highest rated publisher in the world. They're like their games were consistently good. And then they announced Fallout 76, and then it's garbage. I feel like there's probably still some smugness, even though, especially about that game in particular, there shouldn't be. The next thing, I don't think there's going to be a new Evil Within 3 or something like that. I would imagine there's either going to be like an Evil Within spin-off kind of game, like a smaller game, sort of like how they did a spin-off of Dishonored 2, and then there's Dishonored Death of the Outsider or something like that, I think is what it's called. I could see them doing some kind of spin-off of Evil Within, or maybe just like a different horror game altogether, but my bet is going to be that there'll be some sort of Evil Within, smaller spin-off game. And then the third thing for Bethesda is either a New Vegas, probably New Vegas, possibly 3, but I would imagine a New Vegas remaster for PS4 and Xbox One. And for one, it could be really simple. It could just be like an up-res, really quick thing that they sell for $30. But I know that because of how bad 76 was, they're going to want some goodwill back. And just letting people play New Vegas on a current console, maybe even on Switch too. Like, I think that would garner them a little bit of goodwill. So that's why I see that happening. All right. Next up is the PC Gaming Show. You guys like my transitions? I spent too much time making this look nice. The PC Gaming Show, powered by the Epic Games Store. Meaning, there's going to be at least 3 Epic Games Store exclusives. At least 3. And I feel like that's really conservative. There's going to be a lot of Epic Games Store stuff, and people are not going to be like that at all. It's going to be bad. Since it's the PC, I know this is a terrible image, but when I just searched Battle Royale game and was looking for a generic picture, this was the closest thing I could find to generic. So, the second prediction is there's going to be at least 2 new Battle Royale type games announced. They haven't gotten the memo that it's already oversaturated. Studios have been making them, and there's going to be 2 more, at least 2 more at the PC Gaming Show. Then the third thing is, I think Fortnite Season 9 ends like the next week or the week after. They're going to talk about Fortnite Season 10. Chris, this image says Season 9. Yeah, because Season 10 isn't a thing yet. So, Season 10 is going to be talked about, I would imagine, at the PC Gaming Show. And yes, those 3 things were very Epic Game Show centric, but I'm not into PC gaming enough to really know what people want or would expect. So my predictions are based on what I do know, and it's that Battle Royale is everywhere and it won't die. Next up, Ubisoft, or Ubisoft, depending on the year and depending on which employee you ask. Trials Rising came out earlier this year. It's supposed to have 3 big DLC content things. I know C stands for content and DLC. And only one of them has come out so far, which is what this image is of. It's like Route 66 or something like that. And that was a month or 2 ago. I would imagine they're going to show the second DLC. And my actual prediction is that the second Trials Rising DLC is going to be either a shadow drop or available later today. Like they're gonna drop it the day of their conference. Number 2 for Ubisoft is Splinter Cell something. I don't know if it's going to be a new Splinter Cell. It could even be Blacklist. What was the other one? I don't know. The 2 most recent Splinter Cells that were both last gen, I could see them, porting one or both of them to new consoles. I'd prefer just to get a new Splinter Cell. I just like stealth games. But hopefully something Ubisoft, something Splinter Cell will be at the Ubisoft conference, I hope. And this one's more of a wish, a big wish, more than an actual prediction. I want another Blood Dragon thing, because first there was Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Great. Then there was Trials of the Blood Dragon, which wasn't that good. It was more Trials, which I'm always here for, but I want another game to get a Blood Dragon version. And I don't care which one. Assassin's Creed Blood Dragon, that would be dope. Splinter Cell Blood Dragon, I don't know how that would work. Rabbids Blood Dragon, Rayman Blood Dragon, I don't know. Something Blood Dragon. Expand that universe unnecessarily and just make me happy. That's what I want. It's just another Blood Dragon thing. All right, Square Enix. Now, two of these predictions are almost impossible. I don't see them actually happening, but I want them to happen, and I don't know why they're impossible. And we'll get into it. First off, Chrono Trigger came out on PC, I think last year. Might have been the year before, but I think it was last year. And it was garbage. It was based on the phone port of Chrono Trigger. And they've got to be putting Chrono Trigger on consoles, right? Just like how we got Final Fantasy VII, we got Final Fantasy IX, we got Final Fantasy XII, and all those are on Switch. And then we got Chrono Trigger on PC. So I really think Chrono Trigger on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch would make a lot of sense. Maybe there's some kind of rights with if there were rights with Nintendo, then how would it come out for phones and PC unless the wording was something about consoles? Then at least put it on Switch, since Nintendo is allergic to Virtual Console at this point. I'd settle for Super Nintendo games being added to Nintendo Online and Chrono Trigger being one of the first games. But Chrono Trigger on consoles is the first guess. Second guess, Final Fantasy VIII on consoles. See, both of these I feel are unlikely. Final Fantasy VIII is one of these things where, first of all, I hear somebody say well, there's a song used in the game and it's too expensive to license it. And I'm there's no way it's too expensive to license a 20-year-old Japanese song. Or they could just replace the song. I don't know. Maybe the song's too important. And then I hear somebody else say it's well, they've lost the source code to Final Fantasy VIII. Do they use the source code for these ports that are basically just emulating an old game? Don't they just put them in an emulator container? That's how Virtual Console worked on the Wii and the Wii U. It was just a ROM basically inside of an emulation container that the console was running. They didn't need the source code for a Super Nintendo game. I don't know. Just give me Final Fantasy VIII. It makes me so mad because 8 is my favorite. At the very least, it's my favorite PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy game. I like it better than 7 and 9. I just want Final Fantasy VIII. Just let me play Final Fantasy VIII. If they announce Final Fantasy VIII at the Square Enix press conference, I will play the entire thing on stream. Not one stream, maybe one stream. Yes, one stream. I'm making that up right now. This is a terrible idea. I will play all the way through Final Fantasy VIII in one sitting if they announce it at E3. That's my wager. I haven't wagered anything on any other bet, but I will play through Final Fantasy VIII. And then finally, I think they're going to announce Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC, and I think it's going to be a new world. It's not just going to be, because they've already talked about some DLC stuff like a special boss and harder, the harder difficulty came out already, and I'm that's not what people want. People might want it hard, a harder difficulty for the game, but whenever we say we want DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3, we don't mean add a boss somewhere. Give us another world. And even if you can't get Disney on board to give us, a Moana world, or I don't know, a Dumbo world, or whatever. Even if you can't get them to do that, make a Final Fantasy world, since you didn't put any Final Fantasy in Kingdom Hearts 3. Way easier to get the rights since you're Square Enix. Just do that. So yeah, if they announce boss DLC or nonsense DLC that's just like, oh, here's a Keyblade for $2, like, that's not going to count as me getting a prediction right. And then finally, of course, Nintendo, who said that their E3 press conference is exclusively software for the Nintendo Switch. Number one, a brand new 2D side-scrolling Mario style with a whole new art style and everything. And it might be like this that I just found by Googling. I have no idea what it is. Probably should have looked up what it was. It could be like a brand new kind of pixel art. It could be hand-drawn graphics. I just want it to be not the new Super Mario Brothers style. Because even though the level design in those games is actually really good, it's on par with some of the older ones, the art style is just so soulless and off-putting that so many people don't give those games a chance. Kris, it sold really well. I know. But it could have sold better if it looked good. Like, if they released a new game that just looked like Super Mario World, it'd probably sell really well. I know Mario Maker's coming out, so what's the point? Also, my bonus bet for the first Nintendo prediction is that the new style of game, when they announce it, that will be the extra style in Mario Maker 2 that is next to Super Mario 3D World. My dreams are too big. Second thing, I think they're going to announce the Breath of the Wild sequel. It might just be a tease. It might be a very small thing. I'd actually imagine it wouldn't even have a year on it. Like, it wouldn't say 2020. It would just say, might just say in development, like Metroid Prime 4 did. Like, I don't know. But I really think they're going to, because the gap has been so big. Like, the biggest gap between mainline Zelda games coming out and the next one being announced is like, I think it's 2.5 years, 2 years and 8 months. I figured it up once. I can't remember. But Breath of the Wild came out 2 years and 3 or 4 months ago. So it's been that long. I mean, I know they're doing Link's Awakening, but that's a remaster and it's being handled by another studio, so I don't really know why that. I wouldn't count that in my math. It just feels like it's time, especially because in my mind they're gonna do the Majora's Mask thing. They're gonna use the assets and the locations and the characters and just make a Majora's Mask for Breath of the Wild. It'll be a different story. It might be a different Link. It might be a different timeline, but it'll have all the same mechanics. It'll have some new items. You'll have a big open world to explore. I could definitely see it. That's why I think it's going to happen. It's totally going to happen. And now the biggest dream of all. Just make a new FZero, dude. You've skipped 2 console generations. I still have my copy of FZero GX because no racing game has matched the feeling of speed that FZero GX gives you on the GameCube. And then all through the Wii, nothing. I think FZero on the 64 was on the Virtual Console. How dare you acknowledge its existence without making a sequel? And then, in the Wii U era, which I know was like a shortened era and like it wasn't supported very well, no FZero there either. And now we're over 2 years into the Switch and there's still no sign of FZero? Why? Do you only want to have one racing game? So you're like, Mario Kart's good enough. Come on. Come on. Come on. Anyway. That's the end of my predictions. Tune in for all the reaction streams. It'll be a good time. Am I going to wear a suit jacket? Am I? Will there be special surprises? Will there be surprise guests? Will there be cool like sound effects and graphics that I make specifically for that? Who knows? Am I going to make wild announcements about future streams that may or may not involve the Ouya during one of the conferences? Who knows? Anyway, thank you all for watching. I'm going to stop this because it's 20 minutes long and I didn't think it'd be that long. And we'll see you at E3. at E3.